make no mistake, when you look the way that the Giants looked yesterday and have looked lately, it can't make a manager and his future look comfortable. Regardless of your opinion of Bob Melvin, I think Bob Melvin's a good manager. I would still lean toward bringing Bob Melvin back, probably with a completely different coaching staff, even today, going into 2026. That being said, though, you look the way you look, and if you continue to look the way that they've looked, I mean, you could, and then you said Bob Melvin wasn't going to be back. I couldn't argue with you. It's looked that bad, fair or unfair. It's looked that bad. All of that being said, though, Greg, I still believe this is a talent issue for the Giants. I still believe the fundamentals, and you're right. When you don't have as much talent, you have to be more fundamentally sound. Is it? And the expectation is that you play clean baseball and you are more fundamentally sound. Like, I understand all of those gripes, but in today's day and age, if you're not going to be doing that, then you better have some guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, and you better upgrade your talent in a significant way. So I believe that the Giants are more flawed in terms of overall talent, and it's made to look worse by the lack of fundamental play that we've seen. Go get the talent, and then let's see how bad the fundamentals truly are, in a year where maybe Melvin's the manager again.
Here's what I'll say on the Bob Melvin front. I'm not going to call for his head here on August 14th, but it's been really ugly since the trade deadline, since the All-Star break. And what I do need to see from this Giants team is motivation. That doesn't mean that Bob Melvin needs to be all of a sudden the type of personality that's going to be screaming and lighting a fire visibly under everybody's butt. We talked about the different leadership styles yesterday, right? The Bill Walsh kind of leadership versus your Pete Carroll or your Dan Campbell and people that are much more expressive. Bob Melvin doesn't need to change his entire personality. That doesn't mean that he can't motivate players. And I'm not talking just about a Willie Adames or a Matt Chapman or guys who are the leaders in the clubhouse and care a lot. If you're a young player like a Drew Gilbert or a Grant McCray who's getting your chance right now, you got to see a little bit of fight here. Even if you're a Dom Smith who might not be back next year, that's an example of someone that is showing a little bit of fight and urgency. So, yes, the Giants have a talent issue. I'm not disagreeing with that. But simply less talent than the San Diego Padres isn't an excuse for having performances like what you saw yesterday, for like spiking balls in left field or letting pass balls go by and it being 7-0 with a young pitcher on the mound who was getting his second career major league start. I'm not expecting them to win that game yesterday, but that was just sheer embarrassment. And again, the how of it matters. So the how for the end of this Giants season does matter for me as far as Bob Melvin. I think there's going to be changes on the coaching staff regardless. Now, whether that includes him or does not include him, you got to see some kind of motivation and a little bit of a pulse with this team in order for him to come back in this next season.